So I did this article, but you may not have seen it. So I just wanted to ensure that there is a video out there on the topic, because we have studied about the trickster that, gets you focused on one thing and is doing something else. And why I say the trickster is at work, because while everybody's focused on the vaccinations, DARPA's up to something else. So I'm going to share my screen. And so this is a program that was started on December 4th. So they knew this was coming. I think the solicitations actually went out before December. So they were well aware that the coronavirus was coming. And it is a program about protecting you from biological, chemical, and viral threats. And they're going to do this in two different ways. One, a clothing line and called Personalized Protective Biosystem. But it's a two-part thing. It's not only clothing, and that's what you need to know about. So the clothing is a it configures, so it's like a living material that is a barrier that provides protection against countermeasures that neutralizes threats at vulnerable points of entry. And that would be your skin, your airway, and your ocular. So, these masks are just the start. They are going to want us to wear goggles. They're going to want us to have our mouths closed. And then we're going to have this clothing. So we're basically going to be looking like a Muslim woman. We're going to have our chemical, biological, and burqa on if we're terrified of pathogens. So you just need to understand that this is all by design, but there is a more insidious program afoot. The second part of the program uses synthetic biology, and it changes your body and the tissue barriers that God has given you. And so barriers were given by God to keep us safe, but these barriers are being degraded by science. And so now science is offering you a synthetic barrier. So there's a wave of SynBio right now. You can buy SynBio plants right now, but this particular program that DARPA is talking about is going to use bacteria, and it's similar to what happens in a bioreactor or a fermenter in a factory or a warehouse, but now it's going to be introduced into your microbiome. That's your gut bacteria. And it is going to use the same processes that are used in drug manufacturing and industrial processes. And you are literally going to become a synthetic factory. So you will no longer, the bugs in your intestines would no longer be human-like bugs. They would be totally synthetic. And what's even more troubling about this is that your body becomes a factory manufacturing the compounds that promise to protect you. So this is basically not new. When GMO foods came on, basically you ate the GMO food. If you did, God bless your health. But if you did eat it, then you became, your body in the gut manufactured pesticides. It was a vicious cycle. And now they're going to introduce something else that will supposedly protect you from all pathogens and chemicals. So knowing DARPA's proclivity for swarming things, these microorganisms could technically take over your body. And you need to understand the microbiome impacts every part of your body. your emotions, your organs, your blood, your digestion, your brain function, if you're happy, if you're sad, your emotional state. It affects every single thing. And with this the synthetic system, you actually become a synthetic entity. Now, how does that impact the soul and the spirit? I really don't know, because this is a totally synthetic process. They are introducing into your body a synthetic system, and then you become this synthetic being, basically. So it's based on these organisms that can live on you or in you. And they're now, see, the organisms being synthetic, they could be like part Nephilim, they could be part robotic, they could be part anything. They don't necessarily have to be like a God-given organism. And in fact, it won't be a God-given, because it is they're completely foreign and synthetic. And they lived in a commisal relationship. That kind of means like I scratch your back, you scratch my back, or a symbiotic relationship where it's good for both parties. But that's not the case with these particular bugs, really, because it is a one-sided symbiotic relationship, not a true commisal relationship. And so basically DARPA is going to engineer and gene edit these ancient entities that they plan to make ubiquitous and protect us, and they can produce in our body. Once they're in there, they can produce antibodies, vaccines. So you don't have to get a vaccine anymore. They are going to introduce organisms into your body that will make a vaccine. Compounds that interact with bacteria and viruses and even chemical agents and different enzymes. Once again, supposedly breaking them before they can hurt us. So there is, they do have to put a kill switch, but the thing is, do they really kill the bacteria or do they kill us? That's a question that still needs to be asked. These organisms can enter your body different ways, through the eyes, through the nose, through the mouth, and through the skin, just so you know. And they will be in a plug and play format. It will be rapid. They will start taking effect within minutes, and they will be long lasting for up to 30 days of protection. I would say that that's the beginning of stage, and then they will just be a permanent thing. They will have these toggle switches for activation and deactivation within the body. So who controls that activation and deactivation? You know, is that going to be the beast system? And, you know, if we don't play ball the way that they want, are they going to turn them as a vicious, like a pit bull upon us? I don't know. So they look at this personal protective biology as a living solution. And the program is 5 years long, and by the end of the 5 years, which is in 2025, all humans will be symbiotes. So that's a really scary thought. And so they are soliciting teams that are multidisciplinary, with expertise in nanocomposites, smart textiles, smart molecular and nanoscale sorbents, commensal organisms, gene and protein expression systems, your immune system, metabolimics, and medical device development. And so they are also strongly encouraging the teams that are going to be developing this to work across diverse fields and with industry partners, and be familiar with the FDA or the equivalent regulatory approval. And I find that really interesting. So the FDA is kind of being phased out. And so who is this equivalent regulatory approval? Is this already the World Health Organization, the United Nations? Anyway, that's what's coming your way. This is very alarming news that you actually may be introduced bugs that will grow in your body like a manufacturing plant and produce vaccines and all these things that they want to do that maybe you have made a choice that you do not want to participate in. So that's just a heads up. A document so that you can use it for whatever. Feel free to share it. And if you have any questions, as usual, just give me a holler.